What was the chosen genre and why?
Comedy, because we felt that we could do a comedy best with the characters we had.
There was a couple of reasons. Comedy works best for us because we'll do something and we'll find it funny and we'll just put that in and work with it. Another reason, the audience we wanted to send this out to relates best to comedy. They prefer humor over, drama, any romance, any other type of genre. Comedy's the one that resounds best through the internet. And most of the characters we used are known amongst internet users.
Certain demographic.
Yeah, it matched our demographic using comedy. How effective was your narrative?
The narrative kind of escalated in a very odd way. We started it off as a battle, which kind of escalated into a dance-off, which is where the comedic value comes into our stop motion. And so the narrative, in a comedic value, it goes off the rails, which is deliberate.
It was effective because it's a comedy, so we wanted it to be over the top. We didn't want to focus too much on what the actual plot is about.
Yeah.
Again, it started off with a little battle, or the intro for a battle, and then the characters that people recognized, they just went off the rails. They started doing dances, and then it all culminated with the two protagonists, I guess, having finished their conflict. What impact did the characters have? As we mentioned, these characters, they're well known for having certain personas, but Optimus Prime, he's a leader, he's got to be serious. He's got this personality everyone recognizes. He's very serious, very, I guess, robot formal. Master Chief, I guess he's a fighter, right? He's a warrior. Wouldn't normally dance.
No, not in his line of work.
Then we go to the Hulk.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner is the good guy. The Hulk is the evil within, the rage. We saw him dancing to, was it the Nutcracker?
The Nutcracker, yeah.
Yeah. So we chose these characters deliberately. We wanted to have characters that people within our demographic recognize very well. They recognize them in a certain way, and we basically looped it around.
Just gave him a different side of the character, a side that you'll never see, like in a serious movie or drama. And that's, again, where the comedic value comes in.
Yeah, again, we wanted to make it funny.
Yeah, all for comedy.
What technical qualities did you consider? We'll start with lighting.
Oh, 3-point lighting, because we were using the green screen, which was by far probably the worst thing. Yeah, 3-point lighting throughout the production. And one specific time where we changed the lighting was for a part during the beginning with the Master Chief, with the spotlight. How we used a phone flashlight to give it a more disco kind of in-the-moment surreal look to it.
Give it a You've Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent type
like a showcase
type look. Yeah, show type look rather than just leaping from one dance to the next. We did have an issue where we had to go from one room to the other, so the lighting changed, as you might notice in the video, which affected the green screen, which I'll talk about later. But it definitely made lighting interesting because we went from a big space, we had a lot of space to work with to move the lights around and focus our characters properly, to a really tight small space where we basically had the lights 10 centimeters away from our faces at all times.
It's pretty hard. We developed our knowledge on how to actually do the light properly.
Yeah, we experimented with it, and I think the final result without the green screen added in looked good.
Yeah, I mean towards the end it started really looking more professional, I think.
In terms of shots, we used a bunch of them.
A wide variety.
Probably more than we should have. We used close-ups, a couple of extreme close-ups, which I don't know if they made it into the final video. We did a Matrix type thing.
A 360
The 360 spin around the character.
Yeah.
Which we didn't think would look good, and we had issues with the camera. We couldn't... the camera's too big. You can't drag it around the table, because at that time we had a small space. So we ended up swapping to Marlon's iPhone. And you might notice, this, I guess, adds to the humor of it, the corny parody look of it.
Yeah.
When you examine it properly, you can actually see parts of the set. You might see holes in lights hanging around the character.
It wasn't done to perfection.
Yeah. We really didn't think it through, but looking at the end result, it's funny.
It works well with the music as well. You barely see any interruption with the shot.
Who was your target audience?
People who are familiar with characters, really. Young demographic, preferably 18 over. People who know, who have seen the characters in their actual context, how they are in movies and games. Just for them to see like an alternate reality for them. Seeing them in a different light, seeing them behave differently and act differently, doing things that they would never do. So demographic would probably be people familiar with the characters.
Half of these characters are really well recognized. You got Optimus Prime, the Hulk, Spider-Man. Really well recognized characters. Those are for the general audience, I guess. And then you've got the characters that people within a certain demographic alone recognize. You got Master Chief. If you don't play games,
You won't
you
recognize
definitely
him.
don't know who Master Chief
No.
is. Oh, there was the creepy claw baby from
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Pixar again. So there was like 2 Pixar cameos.
Another character that people would recognize. Doesn't have a name as far as I can tell. It's just creepy baby.
Because you'd
But you recognize it from Toy Story.
Yeah.
So we had the characters for the people who are within a certain demographic, the ones that, they recognize the internet, they spend
Yeah.
a lot of time on the internet, they know video games. And then we have the generic characters, which those same people will recognize along with a broader audience.
Exactly, because those generic characters have been around for 20, 30 years, comic books, TV series, mostly comic books and cartoons, actually.
And Master Chief for 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, over 10 years now.
But again, if you don't play video games, you probably don't know who it is.
No.
What was the audience's overall response? Based on the feedback,
You got all...
it seems like
enjoyed
a lot of
it.
people thought it was funny, which is what we wanted anyway.
That was our main goal.
Yeah, main goal was we want people to enjoy it.
They
We
wanted
want them to have a
want them
laugh.
to have a laugh, want them to, just experience it in a different way.
The only negative feedback really was the green screen. The quality of the video overall,
Yeah.
which I guess is based on the fact that it's 3,000 frames. We're not going to put the green screen filter. What was it? The chroma key on
chroma key
every
on
single
every
image, because that would actually maintain the quality somewhat. Instead, what we did was we put all the images into one, or we put them all on the timeline. We put it for the frames per second that we needed, and we exported that file.
Yeah.
You export the file, you lose some of the quality. When you put it back on the timeline, the quality is going to go down again. So that was something that we couldn't help,
It was a sacrifice to save time. I
which
think.
was
Yeah.
down to the fact that we used green screen. So there was, the green screen wasn't great. We still haven't mastered green screen.
No.
So I think we got better once we moved to the control room.
I think, once we moved to the next room, we used a nicer shade of green, and I think we sorted the lighting out more conveniently, so that everything there's no shadow, there's barely any shadow, and everything was lit up in proportion. So I think eventually, a minute into the video, it gets much better.
Yeah.
But that's the learning experience we learned from using.
We learned from our
lights.
mistakes.
Yeah, we did.
We took all the pictures, we saved onto the computer. We didn't actually see how it actually looked. So there was no comparison. We couldn't tell if it looked good or if it looked bad, honestly. I guess with Master Chief and Optimus Prime,
Yeah.
you'll notice that the green goes from a limey green to a proper green screen
Yeah.
looking green. How effective was the music sound effects?
The sound was the best thing out of the stop motion, apart from the animation.
It was definitely the most important part.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the actual animation,
Yeah.
the sound, the music was important because it was all based on our narrative. It was these characters dancing. We used music that people recognize mostly.
Yeah, popular dance music.
Like, I guess Scatman's quite
Scatman,
popular,
very
especially on the
popular.
internet.
A more recent one, the Harlem Shake. Which
Harlem
was a
Shake's
whole-
popular on the
there's
internet.
a whole viral video thing about that. MC Hammer, everyone knows MC Hammer.
Demorigato,
Yeah.
Macarena as well.
Macarena as well, yeah. So all music popular in the demographic that we're looking for. All the people, they should know. It's all within 20 years, except for...
Yeah, very popular music. As for the sound effects, we recorded a ton of sound effects.
Yeah.
We couldn't put them in because it would have been too time-consuming.
Yes.
We added in gunfire from Halo.
Yeah.
So Master Chief's default gun, I guess,
Yeah,
best way to
assault
say
rifle,
it.
yeah.
His assault rifle, the one everyone recognizes. What else? Footsteps? Did we do footsteps?
We used, in the game Halo, we used footsteps from a machine, and we used that in the beginning, the first few
For
seconds
Optimus walking.
for Optimus walking into the shot, which I think worked very well. Gave it a nice sound to it.
So we actually used original sound assets, I guess, from the video game.
Yeah.
How many frames per second was it, and was it fluid? In the end, we had about 2,700 frames. We took probably 300 out. It was, how long was it? It was about 2 minutes. A couple of times we noticed that some of the animations weren't great at, 20 frames per second?
20 frames
so
per second.
for some of the animations, we had to crank it up to 23. For some of
23.
them, we had to crank it down to 18 because they were
Yeah.
too smooth. Overall, it was about 2,400 frames.
I mean,
At an average of about 21 frames per second. How do you feel that you did?
I think we did well.
Yeah.
Considering it took so long, so much time, I think the end result really matches how much work we put into it.
Apart from the minor issues, the green screen, everything else, I think is awesome.
It went to plan.
Yeah,
Apart from the green screen, of course. But
Yeah.
we had an idea and we made it happen.
yeah,
We got the result we wanted to look for. We got the comedic value that we wanted to get out of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
And actually did it according to the letter.
Yeah, usually it's more spontaneous what we do, but
Yeah, we'll say one thing
And then-
and do something else. So
Yeah,
this time we went with comedy because it was the thing we always end up doing anyway, and it worked. I think. I think it looks good.
Personal opinion, I think it worked, and from others, they say it worked out. So I'm
Yeah,
happy.
people like it. I'm good with that.
I'm happy.